In this video, we're going to talk about Premiere's new color mode. Jason, good to see you.
Great to see you, man.
All right, so what do we got going on here with the new color mode in Premiere?
Well, this is a complete reimagining of color in Premiere.
Okay.
And it's not just a reset for color in Premiere, it's a reset for what the relationship can be between a video editor and color grading tools.
Yeah.
Editors have been stuck between two really poor choices when it comes to color grading for like more than a decade now. You either accept the very low ceiling and limitation of the tools that come shipped with your NLE, in our case that was Lumetri, or you abandon your edit and you study hard enough to earn the ability to use tools that were always made for pro colorists, not editors, to do a fundamental part of your job. We thought that was a little crazy. But these two choices, spawned a whole generation of video editors that think the only way to good color is through complexity and extreme study and extreme depth. We're here to break that rule with color mode. You can access it right here. We're in edit mode. Now we're in color mode.
Okay. And that brings us this new layout.
This new layout.
That you could customize, I'm assuming.
Bugs aside, it's our first public beta. There's going to be some bugs, man.
That's why it's got the beta title.
Right? Yeah. So the first thing you're going to notice here, it's a very simple user experience. It goes deep. Huge program monitor. The image always comes first in color mode, whether you're on a laptop or a big monitor like this. This is the clip grid, vertical representation of every shot in your sequence. Right? I can stack this in one row, 2 rows, many rows. I can make these icons smaller, bigger, whatever I want. Allows me to really see everything. Color controls are down here, and then operations are over here.
Okay.
We're going to get an operations.
Is this a representation of my timeline, or is this?
This is your timeline.
Okay.
Timeline from left, right, left, right, left, right.
Okay.
This is a little bit easier way to see it right there. And then we have metadata.
Am I looking at every top level clip? Like basically, if I had something under, on track 1, but it's not really in the edit.
That is correct.
So this is every top level?
Every top level,
okay.
And you can filter and sort them.
Okay.
And we'll get to that in groups in a second if you want to go that deep, but sequence time code, graded, scene, name, label, codec resolution. Clip time code's my favorite. Now it's by time of day. Now you want to make a bunch of custom groups by time of day, time code.
Work on that.
Super easy. So let's go back to sequence time code real quick. Let's do some color grading, right?
All right, let's go.
All right, let's do it. Simple contrast adjustment on this pretty cool clip right here. I'm going to click on contrast, and as soon as I click on the tool, you notice I get this heads-up display. Right? So this is showing me the most appropriate scope for the tool we're looking at.
Okay.
Numeric information of the tool we're actively editing. And there's real-time animated feedback, these overlays that actually help me understand what I'm doing as I'm doing it.
Okay.
Surprise, most controls in color mode are bidirectional. Meaning if I go up and down, I get contrast. If I move left and right, I have the pivot of that contrast. Right? So I like that right there, some nice grittiness. Only problem is I clipped my highlights. Right? So let's bring in zones now. If I have this global zone selected, when I use my color and contrast tools, I'm grading the whole shot. Or I can highlight shadows, highlights. I can make up to 6 luminance zones for every single adjustment. Whoop. Sample highlights right there. So let's just grab that tippy top of the highlights. I made a new zone right there. Let's just bring exposure down. Now my sky isn't overexposed anymore, right? Color shift. I can click on this right here. We automatically surface the most prominent hues in every single clip, so you don't got to go fighting to point a million little curve points.
Okay, so it's finding the hues if you want to adjust a specific color that
is
most likely appearing in your image.
You also have an eyedropper. You can get the whole RGB spectrum if you want to, as you know, but this is just faster and easier. So I'm going to do a sat shift right now. If I move left and right, I change the amount of hue I'm about to edit. And then when I go up and down, I make that color more or less saturated. Then if I go to hue shift, I'm going to widen the scope and then move up and down to change the color of that hue. You see the slice of pie moving up and down?
Yeah.
It's like it's actually showing me, okay, it was this, and we're shifting it to this on the vector scope. So if you're like a creative professional and you've been editing and grading for years, the system is going to help you make faster, more nuanced, more controllable creative decisions. And if you're new to color, especially pro color, new to pro editing, the system's actually going to help teach you how to color as you use it.
Yeah, I like that this shows you what scope you need based on the tool that you're using. That's very interesting. Okay,
We also invented the world's first sharpness heads-up display. So you don't have to squint like this when you're leaning into your monitor.
Or toggle between what kind of view you want to have.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can pin these HUDs. Right now they're freeform. I can put them anywhere on a second monitor.
Okay, so if you didn't want to keep your waveform monitor up the whole time, you could pin that.
Precisely. We also have a new video scopes panel if you want always on scopes, if that's your jam, which it's a lot of people's jam.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
And that would be no matter what mode you're in?
No matter what mode you're in.
Timeline, everything, you can just have your scopes up.
You can do that everywhere. But let's not grade one clip at the same time, let's grade every clip at the same time. So we have clip operations and sequence operations right here. Anything I do here is at the clip level, like we did over here on the contrast. If I click on sequence style right here, I'm about to add a style to the whole sequence. Adjustments are the core color controls you see right here, most of the color grading, color correction controls. Styles are collections of modules, and modules are individual color effects that allow us to achieve a very specific kind of look or a specific kind of idea. And so I was a pro colorist for like 10 years before I got into product marketing, and when someone would ask me, okay, make me a bleach bypass, make me a really sunburnt, deserty, dusty look, we know how to and just like build that in 15, 20 minutes. How can you capture the intent behind the construction of a look and make it modular so that you can save it, customize it, take it as a one-click cinematic look like a LUT, but dive deep into customization if you want to. So I can add these individually, contrast kit, film color, flare, they do different things. I'm gonna go ahead and make, this is my Jurassic Kodak preset that I made earlier, because of course you could save them.
If you had already pre-designed a look for the sequence, you could save it as a preset.
Exactly, yeah. I've been making a lot of them and making silly names for them, because why not, right? So if I click done here, so I say I've got film module, contrast kit, color and contrast, color shift and flare right here. If I open up film color, first thing I can do, I can change the film stock. So if I want a Kodak film stock, a Fujifilm print emulation, let's try Fuji Eterna 400 and Kodak, Fuji, that's what I want, that's cool right there, right? So if I move the mouse up and down for strength, it does strength. Here's where things get interesting. Here's where modules and styles start to like, if I move my mouse to the left, I lose the film contrast and I keep the film color. If I move my mouse all the way to the right, I lose the film color and I keep the film contrast.
Okay.
Customizing and controlling that from a pro color environment is extremely difficult and very nuanced, and you have to practice and study a very long time to be able to do that. So this is about, color mode is about making the craft of color grading accessible to everyone. Last case in point, if we go to contrast kit here, we got compression. This is actually my favorite control. It took me like 5 years to really learn how to create my own custom contrast density curves from scratch to really emulate how film reacts, right? But if I move my mouse up and down here, creating this S-curve, this contrast curve, and if I move left and right, I can shift it and move it up and down. I don't have to make a million tiny little points. I'm vibing and waving, and everything I want to happen is happening with complete control. And then range, dude, wait till you see range. Okay, so with range, if I move my mouse down, I can actively clamp ultimate black and ultimate white, right? And if I go left and right, watch this. You move the whole range up and down. So I can move it down, get some crunch, bring some highlights back. All right, go over to film color, go to shadow protection, bring that up a little bit, lift my shadows a touch.
It's very intuitive.
We're cooking with gas.
Workflow, yeah.
And
everything you've been doing now is in sequence, so you're doing this across all shots in the sequence.
Because let's go to the next shot. It's all graded.
Yeah.
Except for, you got these clips down here. We got some nighttime stuff. Let me highlight all these clips real quick. Go to selection. Let's make a group.
Okay.
Call this dusk. So now I can grade at the clip, group, or sequence level. I can add as many operations as I want to at every level. And an operation can host an adjustment, a style, or a LUT. Okay. Throw your LUT on your sequence, customize a little bit, change the intensity, whatever you want. So let's go to the dusk group right here, right? Just raise exposure a little bit, increase contrast, increase saturation.
What's the order it applies the color grades? Sequence?
Amazing question.
Group, shot.
Color management first. If you're using a transform LUT, you got that. If you're using Premiere's color management, you're taking log or raw and transforming non-destructively natively based on the color science to 709 or HDR, whatever you want. And then clip, group, sequence, left to right. And you can add as many of these things as you want. So I can have an adjustment on a style on this group. I can have a LUT of the sequence. I can have 3 adjustments right here.
And the way everything's organized there, your left to right is how you're getting the order that everything's being applied to that shot.
And here's how they really get different. Let's make this like almost black and white. I can take the clip operation, drag and drop it onto the sequence.
So if you want to put the whole thing on a sequence, okay, that's cool.
You change your mind, you make decisions.
Yeah, you're like, I like this look on this one shot, I want to put it on the whole thing.
You can drag and drop, copy paste. But the most important thing about this user experience and the tools themselves, I see the giant image. The HUDs are giving me the feedback I need. I see every clip at the same time. I see every tool at the same time. I see how every single bit of color is affecting this clip at the clip, group, or sequence level. I see everything, and look how simple it is.
Yeah.
The whole thing about color mode is that like depth doesn't have to be complexity. You can create and shape anything you want to. Just because we don't have a bajillion tools behind a bajillion tabs doesn't mean that this thing isn't deep and complex. It just smashes the brick wall between imagination and reality way faster, and in a thought process that really reflects editorial. So that's a little bit about color mode.
Anything for matching shots?
Let's talk about matching shots. Let me bring saturation up here a little bit. So we have
Either
this
going to match
really.
the grade of another shot, or if you had reference photos or something.
So if you have reference photos, you could put them in the timeline, use this comparison mode.
Okay.
So this is what we have
Same
again,
idea.
like for the first version of public beta. This is a huge investment area for Adobe. So
Yeah.
all the features and everything's going to grow significantly. More modules. I see a world by the end of next year, there's dozens of these modules, billions of parameters and options, right? So first of all, let me just click on this clip right here. I click on comparison view, and I can see that, well, let's make this a lot more obvious, right? There we go. Drastic difference. I can see the before and after. I can swipe left and right.
Okay.
I can swap sides. I see original, current, right? I can go vertical or horizontal. Here's where it gets interesting. I can shift click, shift click, shift click. And now I have all these pinned clips right here. So let me go right here. Swap sides, because this is the stuff I really want to see and compare against, right? And then I can even go on the thumbnail right here, and I can scrub to the perfect clip I want to compare. And then the clip that is highlighted in white is the clip that we're currently grading. So I can be like, oh no, I gotta take the temp down a little bit, I gotta make it a little bit cooler, make it a little bit less saturated, and that's a much better match. We are thinking about what the future of shot matching can be. Now that we have this foundation, we can start solving harder problems. We're going to be adding a lot between public beta and GA whenever that is later in 2026. We're going to have way more modules. We're going to have HSL qualifier masks. We're going to have a ton of little quality of life updates that, you know, the VP of our organization, Bill, loves to say that like version 1 of products, they don't release, they escape. So it's out now. We feel like this is a comfortable place for users to have a complete workflow end-to-end where they can start experimenting, learning, and doing some real work as we continue to build and tweak and indefinitely.
Yeah, well, this is a great foundation and a really awesome new way to think about color.
Thanks.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.